Today, to officially begin our conference, it is my pleasure to introduce the North Dakota Department of Transportation Deputy Director, Mr. Matt Linneman. Deputy Director Linneman has been with the department for 25 years and was named Deputy Director for Engineering in December of 2022. He is responsible for project development, construction, maintenance, and operations functions throughout the department. Mr. Linneman is also a registered professional engineer in the state of North Dakota with an emphasis in transportation. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Matt Linneman to the stage.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 5th annual North Dakota Transportation Conference. It's sort of hard for me to believe that, we started thinking about this as just an idea. Coming out of COVID, we were like, we need to get back together. We'd been a little bit in isolation, everybody had been dealing with all the stresses of the pandemic, and it was like, we need to get the transportation community, we need to convene the transportation community in North Dakota again. And so with that, we had launched that first conference, and it's been amazing to see how it has transformed and turned into what it is today. And so thank you all for your interest in attending, and we're glad to have you here today. That first conference, our thought, we had a theme at that conference, which was we wanted to get everybody together, like I said, the whole community, state officials, but local, township, counties, all of our partners, consultants, contractors, tribes, everyone from industry, anyone that had any interest in the transportation industry. We wanted to get everybody together, and we wanted to say, well, we're not just all from those separate silos that I just described, but we wanted to come together, and we wanted to be one team, right? We wanted to work towards one network. We all have the same one goal to safely move people and goods across this state. So that was the theme of that first conference, and to me that's been our motto ever since then, both at the DOT and for this conference, that this is where we are at. And so that's what the public expects too. The public doesn't see different networks. They don't see a township road really different that they get on with their goods. If they're harvesting their grain and they have to load it on a truck and get on a township road, onto a county road, onto the state system, maybe onto the interstate and get it to market, or the oil industry moving things, or anyone moving goods across the state, they need a network that can get them everywhere that they want to go. And that's what we're all here today for the next couple days to talk about, is that we really want to act. If here's one of my goals for this next couple days is, can we all really try to come together as one team for these next 2 days and learn from each other, have dialogue with each other, try to solve problems together. That's really what we're trying to do as one giant team here for North Dakota. Because there's lots of challenges. There's lots of needs in the system. There's lots of needs on the state, local, county, tribal systems. There's a lot of challenges we have to meet. And, one of those foremost challenges at the front of all of our minds is safety, right? So there's several things about the conference today and how we all do our jobs on a daily basis that I kind of want to draw some parallels to. And the first one is safety, right? That we've had some great successes. Vision Zero is our guiding principle when it comes to safety. We want to eliminate all roadway fatalities and serious injuries on our roadway networks. And we've seen that. We've seen a lot of the work that all of you have been doing come to fruition, because we were at a 29-year low last year with 85 fatalities. So that's great progress. Through a lot of our efforts through Vision Zero and policy advocacy, we got a primary seatbelt law put in place back in 2023. We've seen almost a 10% increase in seatbelt usage, right? So that's helping drive down fatalities. Those are important things that this community has been able to do to drive safety and build a culture of safety around everything in transportation. So thank you for all of that effort, because all of that work, when it comes to policies, when it comes to enforcement, when it comes to engineering, emergency response, all of our collaborations, those are meaningful. We're having meaningful outcomes from the work that we're doing. But there's more work to be done, right? We want, like I said, Vision Zero is our goal, so we still got a long way to go, and we need new ideas, we need new thinking, we need new collaboration. We all have a role, no matter what your role is in transportation, or teams that you work with that maybe aren't here today. Everybody has a role, whether you're a contractor, like I said, law enforcement, you work in a fleet, you as a driver, a user of the roadway system yourself. There's all, driver behavior choices that you can make to make sure that things are as safe as possible. We have some information, we have some great presentations here today at the conference, both on worker safety, employee safety, safety countermeasures. We have our safety, our crash data available at the Vision Zero booth here. So if you want some of those statistics, those are available online too, but please check those out, because those can maybe help drive some of the decisions you're making in your area of work on how to help us all meet the Vision Zero goal that we're working towards. Sometimes, though, we have to think differently a little bit too about how we achieve our goals, right? We've all been doing lots of things. You have the daily grind of you're trying to get work done and work pushed out the door. But sometimes, especially in these next 2 days, it's a good opportunity to take a step back, right? And learn something new, and learn something that's innovative, that's out there, that maybe you hadn't thought about doing. And so I guess that's one of the challenges for the next couple days is make sure you're hearing those things and listening and with an open mind, so that, maybe there's better ways we can do things, better ways to provide more efficiency, better ways to provide safety, better ways to get more work done across the system with the funds that are available to you or your jurisdiction, because we know there are a lot of needs out there. And like I said, all of the sessions I think here this week, these 2 days, have a lot of that to offer, right? We're sharing some of our wins from inside of the state. We have experts from outside from all across the country coming here to share as well. What are some of the best practices in the nation? And we want you all to be able to take those away and use those when you leave here tomorrow. So as you're thinking about all those new ideas and how do you put those into practice, right? That can help form your strategy, right? That's part of the conversations. That's part of us all being here together today, is that we need to have a collective strategy, and that's something we're trying to help drive at the North Dakota DOT, is what is our network-wide, like I said, back to that one network concept. What is that network-wide strategy, and how do we all get going together in the same direction? So here's a great opportunity to start some of those conversations. Like I said, sometimes just like this conference can start with a few ideas and a few discussions, and it can turn into something very impactful. Like I said, there's lots of needs across the system. Our flexible transportation fund is one example of that, right? We just awarded a little over $100 million to counties, cities, townships, and in that process, there was over $500 million worth of requests. And so we know there's a lot of need across the system on all levels, and that's why the innovative ideas and excellence in operations are going to help us move forward and meet some of those goals. Another tool that's out there and available to all of you is through the long-range transportation plan the DOT is working on rewriting. There's an interactive funding tool. So if you ever wanted to kind of see, like, well, where does transportation funding come from? How far can it go? What kind of service can we expect out of that? It's sort of a trade-off tool for the public to use. So I would encourage you to go out to the DOT website, to long-range transportation plan, and use that tax calculator trade-off tool. It's kind of a fun little exercise just to give you some perspective, and it's very much been calibrated to real-world spending and performance results. And those are the kind of things that we need to take away from here, right? So that we have those frameworks, we have those tools to tell the story as you leave here. Like I said, lots of those opportunities across this next 2 days for you to think about those innovative ideas, how to implement safety, but also how do we lead that? How do we come away with some leadership principles here as well to say we want to make that change? We need to find ways to implement those changes. So leadership happens at every level, and it happens no matter what your role is in the transportation industry. There's a way for you to exhibit leadership and bring some of these ideas, bring a safety culture to bear on your agency, your jurisdiction, your part of the transportation industry. And so there's opportunities here as well. There's a lot of people that are presenting. That becomes a professional development opportunity. We have a great keynote lined up for today that's going to talk about change and and organizational leadership and how we can impact you. And so make sure that you're taking the time to interact with each other too. Like I said, just this peer exchange opportunity, this forum that we have is a great way to take away new ideas and, like I said, formulate ideas and put them into practice, right? I always say, like, I'm never the greatest at having good ideas, but having conversation, great ideas come out of those, right? Someone has part of a good idea, someone else has part of a good idea, you put those together, all of a sudden you got a really great idea. So, like I said, listen, ask those questions, share your ideas, meet somebody new, talk to someone that has a different perspective than you, and they're gonna make some of your ideas maybe even better. And if you're looking for an opportunity like Brian offered earlier, there's lots of opportunities at this conference. So if you're looking to present and work on presentation skills or MC skills, we got opportunities for you. You can come talk to me about that too. So kind of wrap this all together, 5 years of this conference, it's been a great journey already. I think we're looking forward to the next couple days here. We know we have lots of work to do yet when it comes to safety, how to deal with our aging infrastructure system and keep taking care of it the best that we can. But we want to stay committed, right? We want to learn some of the things that we're going to take away from this conference so that you can drive that culture of safety, bring home innovative ideas, drive those with leadership skills that you take away from here today. And one thing that I would really, really like is, like I asked and said, in the next 2 days we're coming together as one team. Wouldn't it be great if we were one team when we walk away from here after 2 days? It's all year long, right? And that's what we want to continue to encourage for all of us, is that we are one team all year round, across the whole system, across all roles, modes, jurisdictions. So thank you all for at least considering that idea and maybe helping us achieve our one team, one network, and one goal. Thank you. Have a great conference.